Welcome to First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. My name is Lindsay Jackson,
And I am Aaron Jackson.
and we are your hosts of season 5 and all the seasons, actually. But okay, so this season, again, we are talking about cliches and making them real to us. What do they mean? If they're good, if they're bad, and all things in between. So, on this episode, let's get right into it. Mother knows best.
Okay, so you skipped some points.
What I skip?
This week is Mother's Day.
I was gonna talk about why we came up with Mother
okay.
Knows Best.
You said
I said let's get into the cliche and then we can talk about it.
Okay, knows best is the cliche.
Cliche. Mother knows best.
There was a song Entangled.
You love songs. You love addressing.
It was
tying them to
called.
songs.
I think it was called Mothers Know Best. It was the bad guy song.
Oh goodness. Entangled?
Tangled.
Oh yes. Rapunzel.
Yeah, Rapunzel. Because
Okay.
the mom. The mom was actually the bad person.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay.
How do I feel about Mothers Know Best? Mother knows best.
Mother knows best. Yeah, and she was the bad guy. Not. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I like it to the extent. So, a preview of like our conversations that we have outside of the pod, where we talk about like the next season. Like this season, we're doing cliches, and then I was talking to Lindsay about next season, how I would want to talk to action and shine and live as a 37-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Because by the time they come up to me with relationship problems and stuff like that, so when Shine's 37, I'll be like 60 or 70 or something like that.
Yes.
Something that might be a real huge thing to him, it might be trivial to me. But maybe when I was 37, it was a really big deal. So I kind of want to input all my knowledge that I have at this age, like almost like timestamp this age. And so I said all that to say that when it comes to Mothers Knows Best, I feel like sometimes with mothers, with some mothers, it's hard for them to timestamp their advice.
Yes.
And like it'll be, you ask them about something. Oh, it wasn't like that when I grew up, or stuff like that.
Because they're so far beyond it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that's why I feel like sound advice, like some stuff, especially like biblical stuff, is timeless.
Mm-hmm.
Like bad company corrupts good behavior and stuff like that. But like, and I feel like sometimes when the moms be like, "Oh yeah, you shouldn't date him," you know what I mean? Like when it's a high school guy that they see, and they're like, "I've seen guys like that."
Yeah, that's kind of can be with any relationship. I felt that way about my sister, even because we're 9 years apart. So by the time I'm going through what she went through, she's already past that. She's on to something else, right? Or she's not really relating so much to me now because she's moved on. So that does happen in every relationship. But but you're saying like I think you can recall, like right now I just had a baby, but hopefully, I will remember just having a baby years from now. And you don't think I will?
No, I don't think you will.
I'll be able to recall this?
No, I don't think you'll be able to recall in the certain details that you can recall it right now.
Yeah.
And so, like when you just told me that breastfeeding is more painful every baby you have.
Yes.
And you might know that when you're 60 or 70. You might remember that. You're not going to remember that pain because of all the good things.
How dare you tell me?
Okay.
Yes, you're right. That's why the whole thing of like the pain of childbirth is like, it is huge and enormous, but then it seems like it wasn't so when you're holding your baby.
Exactly.
Right. So they talk about
you have these baby boys and these baby girls that are like older now, and they're coming up to you, and you're like, when Liv's talking to you about stuff, you're like, man, I remember this, but it's like, I do, but I don't. Right. But okay, so all that to say, I do believe that mothers do. They brought you into this world. Another cliche. They brought you into this world. They could take you out, type of thing.
Yeah.
But good mothers, because some women are not good mothers. I mean, there are people. Hopefully, it's a minority, but they are people who just narcissistic, or don't really care about their kids. But
Mm,
mothers who want to pour into their children, I believe they have the best intentions,
mm-hmm.
and so therefore, like, even if their advice is wrong, they are still in the right. You
Ooh,
get it?
I do get it.
They
I
only
think
want the
that's
best for
how,
you.
yeah. I mean, mothers who care, that's really all. That's all you can do. That means you're a good mother.
Mhm.
Now, mother knows best. I when I think of the saying, I think that it's pretty much saying like, you don't know what's good for you because I do. And that is not true because your mother is your mother throughout your entire life. So mother might know best when you're two because you don't know anything when you're two. But is mother going to know best for my life when I'm 40? Nah.
Well, see, all right. You went 2 to 40.
I did,
What
but I'm
about
just
six? I'm
saying.
talking about, what about 16? What about
Yes.
17?
Yes. Yes.
Who knows best then?
Still the mother. You don't know anything at 16 to 17.
Do
21.
you think you do?
Of course you do, but you don't.
Like, those feelings that you feel when you 15 and you 16 are real
They
feelings.
are real. And you know what? You were saying like you kind of are walk away from it and you don't remember. I can remember with such gravity my feelings for you when we were 15. I remember them. And so I feel like I would be able to relate to live, to action, to shine when they have their crush and then their love. Like I remember being in my backyard and telling my dad I'm running away. I had Ellie in my hand, my stuffed animal Ellie, y'all. And I was just like, I'm running away. He won't let me be with this boy. I love him. He loves me. I remember. And I remember my dad. I remember him just closing the back. I was in the backyard. He just closed the door. And I think he went and got on the phone and called my mom because he probably was like, "Your daughter is being dramatic per usual." He didn't pay me no mind. I didn't leave that backyard, but I remember saying I was to his face, "I'm gonna run away," and he literally was like, "Okay."
Yeah, yeah,
But all that to say that I can pull up those feelings. And so when it's like mother knows best, it's like I've lived there. And some things you are children, you as in our kids, are going to have to experience on their own for sure. But then there's other things that's like, I'm here to help you, I'm
uh
here to guide you. And yes, therefore, I do know best.
I do have one problem with the saying. And this one problem is it does not absolve you from making mistakes.
Of course.
And so I feel like most of the time when it's used, it's like mothers are impervious to mistakes. And that's not true. Are they're impervious to making the wrong decision and stuff like that. Like, I brought you life. I basically taught you how to be a human, which is probably like one of the craziest things about,
You love to say that.
because man, like, we are raising little humans right now.
We're raising little humans,
And
and
like,
your little human boys love to copy you,
yeah,
mimic you in all of your ways. Action does not understand that he's not you. So
yeah.
much so that he gets upset. Like, it's so crazy how Shine loves our love,
Hmm.
and Action is like, what's
Oh
happening?
yeah, yeah. Like, side note, so Shine, he's reading a book, Pow Pow Fish. I
Yes.
think it's Pow Pow Fish.
Pow, pow, fish.
Uh, if you haven't read it, you could go over to Book Buddies and listen to it. Book Buddies ABC 123.
Yes.
So at the end of Pow Pow Fish, spoiler alert, he turns into a Kiss Kiss Fish, and the Kiss Kiss Fish is kissing this other Kiss Kiss Fish, and Shine went like, he said, "Look, it's mommy and daddy."
Yes.
And Shine has always been my wingman, like,
I
ever
don't know how
since
you trained him to be that
I
way.
did. Like, if I'm leaving out the door, and even if Lindsay's mad at me, Shine will be,
Kiss mommy, daddy.
yep.
And I have to do it.
So, so Shine knows best. But all right, so that was my little Shine story. I was saying how mothers, like, sometimes they do think that they aren't wrong. And that could, I was talking about the timestamp thing, and I was talking about how, like, the emotion that you feel is validated and is valid whenever, whatever age you are and whatever feeling you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I feel like when things do seem trivial to mothers, it is hard for them to basically stoop down to that level. And
Yeah.
so the reaction is, to me, not the best reaction. Uh, I'm pretty sure there's been relationships that were hurt because of,
It's like, you don't understand me. You
yeah,
don't
it's just
understand
that
what
you
I'm
don't
going
understand.
through.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. I think that it is hard in the
Hmm.
moment. So not to simplify it, but yes, we as mothers have to always, there's so much put on us to be these nurturers and sympathetic, empathetic, very patient, gentle parenting now, like all of the things that come along with it. And sometimes, you are pressed and you're just like, ah. But yes, going back to what you're saying, yes, having the understanding so that children can feel seen and heard is crucial to child development.
Hmm.
So I agree with you. Mother knows best, though. I think that it's really just saying, I am trying to do what's best for you. I believe I'm doing what's best for you. So take yourself out of it and let me do what I think is best for you. So yeah, it can be a little bit debilitating.
Hmm.
I think that saying might be, we always say, like, is it good? Is it bad? Is it helpful? Is it not? This, no, it's like one of the sayings that we don't have to say anymore.
So if I was, I got a question for you, mother of three, and you do a lot for your children, so much.
Mm.
My question is, what is your reaction when there is like talk back?
Yeah, I mean, and we've said this before, every parent wants to do better than their parents.
Hmm.
Every parent looks at the flaws that their parents did and says, you know what, I can do better. And so I remember growing up and I was not allowed to talk back. I was not allowed to say something in response to my parents saying something to me.
Got you.
Um, and until I got a little bit older, and I remember sitting on the couch and I was probably talking back. I don't remember the exact conversation, but I was saying something in response, right? Because all kids want to do is say something back.
Yeah.
That's what. And I was saying something in response. And again, this is my dad. My dad was like, why you always gotta say something? And that was the end of the conversation because he didn't want to keep going back and forth. But I remember not getting in trouble. I remember like testing and being like, "Oh, I'm gonna keep saying something. I'm gonna keep saying something back." And he was just
Mm.
like, and then that was the, and that was it. But if I'm getting talk back, which I am currently getting right
I was
now,
about to say, because Action has been talking since he came out the womb.
he's been, and I always have to praise God for my blessings because sometimes I want to say, just be quiet, Action. Like, but the blessing is, Action has been saying full sentences since he was one.
Yeah.
And so now that he's five, he's even more articulate, if you
Hmm.
will, and he has even more to say. And he gets emotional. He gets this from me when he cannot say what he wants to say. Because sometimes I'm like, Action, just do what I say, right? It's like, do what I say. And he's like, I have to tell you. And it builds. So he'll go do it. And then he's like, but can I just tell you what I'm
Can I
trying to
just say one
Can I
thing?
just say one thing?
Yeah.
So we're in a different age where, yeah, everything is a conversation. And so it's just really finding the balance because sometimes I don't have time, right?
Hmm.
We three kids, we gotta get to school or we gotta, we don't have time. So I say, hold it, let me know later. Or it's just like, no, it is what it is. And there, like you said, there's faults. I do things that I wish, okay, I could have handled that a little differently, especially because each child is different. And Action is our very talkative child. But I try to listen if I have the time.
So I had a good question. It was about, of course, it was about motherhood, but I was just, it just. Oh, okay. Ooh, it came out and it came back in.
Mm,
So since I'm gonna stay on topic for Mother's Know's Best. Like I said, sometimes moms do make mistakes,
Hmm.
and what happens? Uh, praise God that both of our mothers are alive. But what happens when you put your trust in your mom? You put your trust in her experience or whatever experience she had as a woman to woman. Because I don't really have, like, I'm not a woman.
Hmm.
But when it comes to either like childbirth or being a wife or, any of these things, and it didn't work out the way that you wanted to, or it ended up not working out for you, even though like her intentions might have been, like I said,
Yeah, it's
how do
hard.
you rebuild or how do you trust again
It's like
when that situation?
disappointment
Yeah,
in moms and kind
when
of,
you're disappointed in your mom because although she wanted to do the best, she did her best, but
she did her best, but it wasn't good enough.
yeah,
Sometimes, and this is another, it's like sometimes your best isn't good enough, and then there's another one that's like my best is always good enough. I don't, I don't know because I didn't have a tense relationship with my mom growing up, and even when we or I became a young adult, we were friends. And so, but I remember, and this is something that we went to church today, and the pastor was talking about vulnerability and how to practice vulnerability. So I'll share a very vulnerable moment for me was when we were pregnant
hmm
with our first child, and I was having issues with my pregnancy. And I remember talking to my mom, she's my best friend, and calling her all the time and telling her little things that are happening. And her response, talk about somebody who's like far removed, was, "Oh, that didn't happen to me." Or, "Oh, I had an easy pregnancy." Or, "This was this." And she's removed from it because, you know, the last time she had kids
Well,
was
you,
30 years ago, right?
yeah,
So, okay. Um, and then Jack was our stillborn. And I remember thinking, like, man, my mom did not help me. But I was also grieving and mourning and in complete and utter shock about what's happening. So, couple of things. Good intentions. My
hmm
mother always has the best intentions, and she always wants the best for me, of course. And being far removed from a situation where to me I was like, well, now I don't know if anything she's saying is actually accurate or if it's delusion, because when you're away from it you're like, actually everything was great.
hmm
Like, she's like, none of my babies were fussy babies. All four of the babies are, none of them are fussy. That's amazing.
yeah,
That seems unrealistic. But sure, if you believe it, these are the
yeah,
type of things that's like, you know, according to you, it's like, yeah, we might want to journal and then go back and say, 1992, actually, this
yeah,
is what happened.
hmm
So I mean, how do you rebuild any relationship? Time and communication.
time in communication, and so I'm gonna flip it. That was kind of you as the daughter. Now you're a mother of a daughter,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure that you're an adult. You understand, like you understand social cues and stuff like that. You're gonna understand one time. Hopefully, it doesn't happen, but you when you let your daughter down, right?
Yeah,
And so,
yeah.
what do you feel like now? What you would do to try to,
Repair.
yeah, repair? Because, like you said, you were kind of let down with
And it
your
had
mom.
nothing to do with my
I
mom,
understand
but
that,
but
but
yes,
yeah.
I do,
So
right.
what would
Yeah.
you like? It was kind of like, oh, if I'm flipping the script, what would I wanted my mom to do, or low key, like
Right.
what
Like,
what
what
would
would
I
I
do?
do? Lord willing, and this is really hard because I pray that my daughter never experiences a
Oh
loss. Do I cry every
no,
podcast?
you don't.
Okay. I know, because that's no. But
It doesn't
in
have to
the
be a loss.
event
It could be
that
something else.
something happens and I let her down in a real and I'm sure that it might or will
You
happen.
might really like a guy that she's dating, and then he
And then
breaks up,
right,
and
and
then you
then
say, "What happened with him?" or
right,
something like
and then
that.
she takes offense or
Yeah.
anything can
Okay.
happen.
Yeah.
Anything can
Okay. Yeah. It
happen.
doesn't
No,
always have to be a loss. I
I
just wanted to
know
give you
you're
a
bringing
different
me
answer.
back.
Okay.
I know. Okay. No, but seriously, in the event that something happens, I mean, I can prayer is always my go-to. because sometimes it takes two people to want to heal a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So say she is like not ready to forgive me or to come back or to, what have you. I gotta pray and I gotta wait. I have to wait and listen for the cues and the signs. And like I said, give her a little space, not too much space, because I'm one to say like, we have to interrupt space. If God says,
you have to push,
we
because
have,
my thing is like it becomes avoidance at a point. So you have to push a little bit.
yes. And yeah, if we both wanted to be there, which of course, that's the thing about mothers. You get one mom, and that, I mean, I have two moms now, but you have your mother, and so that will always be your mother, and it can be a relationship that goes ups and downs, but that's your mom.
So you would, I want like bullet points of things that you
bullet
do.
Points,
You said
pray.
You would pray. Okay, that's one.
Top of the bullet points, pray.
Give time.
Second part of the bullet point, communicate. Don't stop the communication, even if it's like, okay, I'm gonna give her a call once a week. That's kind of what I'm doing right now with one of my friends. I'm gonna just go check in once a week. If she answers, she answers. If we don't, we don't. But that I'm thinking about you. That we're still in a relationship. I'm not gonna let time pass without us talking. And then I might give some space, but I think that's what I would want.
Will you address it head on? Like, hey, it seems like you're upset with me. Or you would kind of do the thing that moms do, like when like, oh, you want something to eat? Yeah, you want something to eat?
I made you dinner. It depends on what it is. It depends on how deep it is. Like you said, there's so many different things that can happen in a relationship. Some things you shouldn't touch. Like you said, like some things is like, actually, this person's healing from something, and like this might have a little bit to do with me, but not a lot. So I'm gonna let that go. And then, or if I said something, if it's something like you said something that hurt my feelings, well, let's just talk about that. That way I know not to, some things can be nipped in the bud right away. And I think it's really hard to talk to your mom and tell her things because you want to come with respect. And I always say, like, sometimes it's like avoidance because you don't want to disrespect. But when you're talking out of love, when you're coming with it through love, it's gonna be okay.
Got you. Welcome to the Am I Wrong portion
segment.
There we go. Welcome to the Am I Wrong segment of First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. This is a part where I give a situation and you let me know if I'm wrong or if Lindsay is wrong in this situation. Even though it is Mother's Day, so she kind of has like a pass, but actually have this one for Mother's Day because I think I could get a win on this Mother's Day. I am the main cook in the house. Lindsay mostly cooks breakfast and then for herself. You can stop me if I'm fabricating anything.
No, you're right.
But I am the main cook.
Okay.
I usually purchase the utensils. I purchase the pots and pans and stuff like that.
Okay, go ahead, keep going.
I know all the tools. I know the tools in the kitchen. Lindsay is no slouch in the kitchen, by the way. But there are certain things. I also cook for Liv. So, there's a thing called a steaming basket, and there's a thing called a strainer. Okay? I have asked Lindsay repeatedly to not use the steaming basket as a strainer. And I went to the kitchen the other day and I saw pasta bits inside of the strainer for I steam vegetables for Liv. I usually use the steamer only for Liv anyway. And we have like 4 strainers.
3.
We have 3. Okay, we have 3 strainers. Am I wrong? Should I what should I do? Because the last time she used the strainer, it was to make me food. I mean, no. The last time she used the steaming basket was to make me food. But I've asked her not to use that basket to strain pasta or anything like that. And she has continued to do it.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
Okay. Okay, y'all. Let me tell you something. I don't know the ins and outs of the kitchen, right? I didn't go to culinary school. Um, so I'm gonna just say I think that the steamer and the strainer do pretty much the same thing. They got holes in them to let the water trickle down so that way whatever needs to be the pasta on top settles, and then you can put that in the bowl and then put the sauce in. So to me, they do the same thing. Now, he has asked me not to use it. That's a hard stop right there. Okay, so I agree with you on that point. However, both of them, we got a dishwasher. It's not like he's scrubbing away. You put that in the dishwasher, you let the water do what it does, boom, they both clean. You see what I'm saying? So,
Okay.
Is he wrong? I don't know. I know it's Mother's Day weekend, so I'm not wrong. Okay, so but you can tell us. First Comes Love, TCM, Instagram, or TikTok.
You can always subscribe and like and share on YouTube at First Comes Love TCM. No, it's just at First Comes Love.
At First Comes Love, subscribe on YouTube, or you can email us. Let's talk at First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage.com.
Okay, so we're doing like a mother's knows best cliche, which we kind of dissected and we had some bullet points about the mother-daughter relationship and everything like that. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, the aunties, the godmothers, everything.
Everybody, the teachers,
Everybody,
all the
everybody.
mothers. I say Happy Mother's Day to every woman that I see on Mother's Day. I don't, and most of the time, I think maybe one person, mostly everybody is like, "Thank you." Nobody's offended. Oh, one person they were like, "I'm not a mom," and it was like a whole thing. But most women are like, "I am a mother to somebody." Thank you. Absolutely.
Okay, so we're doing the mother's knows best, and this kind of gets me into a another kind of cliche, and it's the mother-in-law cliche.
Okay.
You know how they're all like, okay, you never get along with your mother-in-law, da 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 da. It's a real cliche. They
I
put
don't
it in.
know what cliche you're talking about.
It's not like a speech cliche, but it's cliche that people
Oh,
don't get
yes.
along with their mother.
It
They
is
made movies
cliche.
about it and stuff
Yes,
like
it
that.
is very
Hmm.
saturated in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yes. Mom-in-law, monster-in-law,
Oh,
J-Lo.
yeah.
I love J-Lo. What's it called? Monster-in-law.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Some things going on with J-Lo anyway.
What?
I'll see you about it later.
Okay.
So with that being said, like how did you build a great relationship with your mother-in-law? And
Man,
you gotta think, like, you got 2 boys. There's gonna be some women coming in.
I know.
How do you feel like
And thank God for Liv, because it was literally like I'm gonna be that other person for my children. And then Liv Kim was like, oh, because the mother-in-law is always like the second. That's the second part of the family, because technically the husband, just kind of gravitates more to
it
the
depends though.
wives.
It depends.
It depends on her relationship, but if she has a relationship at all, they're gonna gravitate
I
towards the
think
wife's
we're
family.
pretty even.
We are.
What are you gonna say?
No, I have nothing to
We
say.
are.
We are, actually. We are. But okay,
We grew up together though. Yeah,
who
we're
was in
also
the room when we have the children?
who was in the room when we had the children? For action, it was my sister and your mom.
Yeah, that's true. That's true there. That's true there.
For Shine, it was your sister,
Hmm.
and for Liv, it was your mom.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then when Jack, your mom got on the first flight smoking.
Yes. I'm just saying, like, most of the time it is more leaning toward the wife's side of the family.
Mm.
So, yeah. What is the question? How are you going to get along with your mother-in-law?
No, how are you going to be as a mother-in-law? Like, what?
Yeah, I'm going to be like your mom, because she's really setting a great example. She knows how to give the proper amount of space and support. And that is what you want in a mother-in-law for those people out there. Okay. And I'm like taking notes, because you do want to support a mother-in-law. You want somebody who cares. She always remembers my birthday. She, coming out here for my happy trails at work, like all of the things. But then you also want, it's like, well, we got a family here. Give it a little bit of space, or me
Mhm.
and my husband going somewhere, so let your son go. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to find that really good balance. And also, I mean, like you said, we've known each other all our lives, but most of the time, you coming in learning someone in their adult age,
Yeah.
and so that's tough because
Yeah.
you're only showing them, most of the time you're showing your mother-in-law your best foot forward. It's rare that you're going to be vulnerable or very, very open with them. That's over time.
Yeah. I remember the first time crying in front of your mom. So.
Yeah, it's definitely not like instantaneous great relationship. I think that I loved your mom right away because I know her, but we didn't have the relationship that we have now. We grew into an
Mhm.
actual, like, oh my goodness, like, oh my God, I love her. Not like I love her because she's your mom, but I love her because I love her.
Mhm.
So, that.
So, how do you feel you are going to be when Action comes in with a lovely lady and he goes, "Hey, mom, I'm really excited to introduce you to,"
Why do you come up with these?
because like we gotta think about these things are going to happen in our life.
Yeah, I know. I think it's
Do you think you're going to be one of those moms where Action has to say, "Mom, be nice"?
right. No, no, no. And I don't want to be that way.
Hmm.
I do not want to be.
It seems like you're trying to convince yourself.
Oh, I really hope that I'm not, because the Taurus in me was coming out, and I was like, but no, because I don't want him to ever keep a relationship secret from me or try to keep that relationship outside of our relationship. So, but I do want him to know he got to bring somebody right home. You know what I mean? You can't just bring everybody home.
She's smacking gum.
Don't bring her
Hi,
home.
Miss Jackson.
No, don't bring her. You first, because you know the type of lady that I am. You see
Mm.
what I'm saying? So the mother is going to
Oh,
set the example.
okay.
Okay. So if you want to play around with whomever, that's you and him having a conversation. But when he want to bring somebody to meet me, then now we can talk.
Oh,
You
you
know
gotta
what I
meet
mean?
the queen.
And I think that I showed that as well when I came to your mom. You know what I mean? Elegance and grace.
That's funny.
Whatever. I mean, yeah.
That's funny.
We'll see. They are 5 and 2, and I can't.
You should think about. I think one of my mom's biggest things was she always wanted a big family, and she said that before.
And I have a big family, so I don't need one.
She see.
Actually, look, I want my boys to be happy and go and find love, but we don't. They don't need to feel the need to procreate to the extent as your family.
What? Just give just find a. I just think it's funny. We don't have that stereotype on both sides, and I think it might be because they've known us since we were younger. Like I always say that your dad and your mom they have known me since I was like 12. Like my grandmother,
at
my
least 12.
grandmother knew them
Yeah.
when they were younger. So, and they kind of knew the family. I mean, once they found out my grandmother was who she was, they were like, "Oh, I know the family he comes from." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but and it also helps that your mom is a family therapist. I think where the communication, our personalities just. I'm big on family. I'm big on communication.
We're doing actually an opposite attract episode at the end of the month, so it'll be interesting to hear what you have to say. Because yes, it does help that we have known each other, but also just because she knew your grandmother, your grandmother didn't raise you. You wasn't raised by your grandmother.
Yeah, but it's like
I'm
knowing
just
somebody's
saying.
family.
Okay.
Knowing somebody's family. But like I said, I have a good relationship with your mother-in-law. I mean, with we don't even say mother-in-law.
Nah.
Which is, we don't even say that. We say mom or mommy.
Or nana or grandmommy.
Yeah, they basically got promoted to nana and grandmommy.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's mothers know best.
Mother knows best. Yes, but you don't need to say it. It's just it's an unsaid truth. that mother knows best.
Yeah.
So I'm never going to use it in an argument, but it is understood that mother does know best.
Okay.
All right, y'all. So tell us what you think as usual. Thank you for joining us. And we hope, first of all, that you have a wonderful Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day. And I pray that you do have a happy Mother's Day. You treat yourself if nobody else treats you. Okay? And, tell us what you think. At First Comes Love, TCM, Instagram or TikTok.
You can also like, comment, subscribe, and share on YouTube at First Comes Love.
Email us, let's talk at firstcomesLove, thenComesMarriage.com.
Talk to you Tuesday.
Ooh, baby.
Muscle on the beat. Oh.